If they remove me, then it would be a major travesty of justice.
Judge Sylvia James breaks her silence over being booted off the bench. Good evening, everyone. I'm Diana Lewis.
And I'm Stephen Clark. A judge under fire fighting to keep her job as the state Supreme Court decides her fate.
7 Action News investigator Bill Proctor broke the story that took James off the bench. And Bill, you talked to James today, so who is she blaming now for her trouble?
Well, Diana, she surely is not pointing the finger at herself. The judge says that no one bothered to explain to her the law or the rules. And if they had, well, she surely would have done things differently. She has a simple argument as to why she should not be removed from the bench.
No judge has ever been removed for the things that I have been charged with.
James was in court this morning as her attorney, Mike Morgenroth, tried to convince the justices that Judge James' use of money collected from an alternative sentencing program went to good, charitable purposes, not to enhance her community image. It was against the rules, he admitted. But James blames Deb Green, head of the Regional State Court Administrator's Office, for not telling her how not to break the rules.
Had I been told by scale at any point that these were problems, which I was not until this process was in full bloom, then I would have done some things differently.
But explaining ignorance of the court rules to the justices and how funds collected by any court should be handled didn't go well for James' team, as the Chief Justice was angered by the claim that James was doing what had been done before without knowing she was breaking the rules.
This woman is a judge. What do you mean you might not look at the law? I mean, I find that highly offensive to suggest that a judge of all people can wink and blink at the law.
The Judicial Tenure Commission and its executive director, Paul Fisher, insist James lied to investigators, and at the 7-week hearing, where he says facts support James' removal from the 22nd District Court bench.
She lied about a number of issues at the hearing, and the master caught most of them, so I won't repeat them here. But the misappropriation of public funds is grounds for removal.
But there was some pushback from the justices when Fisher suggested that James should not be allowed to seek re-election.
If the court determines that Judge James should be removed from office, she's currently, as I understand it, a candidate for re-election.
Yes.
And if the citizens of Inkster want to return her despite her being removed, why isn't that the sufficient solution?
And re-election is what James wants. You'd like to return?
Absolutely, which is why there is a good possibility that they will consider me as a candidate for another term.
Supreme Court insiders tell me it's difficult, if not impossible, to predict just when the justices will decide James's fate. But while James continues to be on paid suspension tonight, she's expected to be front and center at a candidates forum in an effort to be re-elected to the bench and once again be Chief Judge Sylvia James.
Well, Bill, you've been talking to the judge now for a few years and following this case. When talking to her, you know, we get this people feel. Does the judge truly feel that she's in the right here? She's done nothing wrong?
Believes it to her heart. She is absolutely convinced that everyone else is essentially involved in her near downfall here. Bottom line is, these were her actions, her administration, her responsibility.
All right, thank you, Bill.
Bill Proctor, thank you.